That gets our money back. Right. Can't just giving money away.
Okay, Mike's live, everybody's on.
Okay, we got 6 o'clock by the big clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. And a motion.
Second, Mark. The camera's not working.
IT department.
So did you do both the agenda and the minutes? I
No.
was drafted.
Just
the
agenda.
Okay.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I
Opposed, motion carries.
move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, we got opening bids for our community crossings project and town hall parking lot. Mark, what do you got there for us?
I'll start with opening the bids for the community crossing or the street project. The first bid is from Niblock Excavating. Their total base bid is $1,254,166. The next is from Reith Riley Construction Company, Inc. Their total base bid is $1,721,657. Next bid is from Pulver Asphalt Paving, Inc. Their total base bid is $1,150,630. Bid is from API Construction Corp. Their bid is $1,177,607.
Is that your last one on that?
Huh?
Is that the last
That
one?
is the last on the streets. We'll now go ahead and open the bids for the town hall parking lot. The first one of those is from Niblock Excavating Inc. It is in the amount of $250,656.25. The next bid is from Reese Riley Construction Company. It's in the amount of $327,508. The next is from Pulver Asphalt Paving Inc. It is in the amount of $235,678.75. The next is API Construction Corp. It's in the amount of $274,215. And the last one is from E&B Paving LLC. And it is in the amount of $230,932.25. And so I would suggest to the board that at this point you take both of these different stacks of bids under advisement, allow our engineers to review them and come back later in the meeting with a recommendation.
Yes. We asked them to do that.
Huh?
Please do.
Or you got anything?
First thing I have is I gave you each a packet of the bank reconciliation. It was done on Friday, but I'd taken the day off and I just kind of like to move on from that. So all the records are balanced. Couple things we had to make corrections on, but we got that all figured out, so. You have a fund report, bank reconciliation report, an investment report there in front of you. Yeah, there should have been. Right there.
Just that one
The
approval thing?
approval.
Want all of us to sign that?
This one.
Okay.
I make a motion, we accept the bank reconciliation report.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to, accept the, March it's not gonna come out of me. Reconciliation, bank statement. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next thing I had was the little tiny wording in the handbook about on-call clarification. Did everybody have a chance to take a look at that in the email? How do you feel about it? Do you want me to move forward with it, work with Bill? It's just, the way it's worded, it could be taken that if you get called in on your on-call, that we only have to pay you straight time. Now, that's not what we're doing. If they work their 40 hours that week, they get the overtime. But I feel like it should be, the language should just be cleared up to,
Yeah, I agree.
it's a law. I mean, if they work more than 40 hours, obviously
Right.
we have to pay them overtime. And that's what we do. But I feel like it ought to be clarified in the handbook, be
Yeah.
written that way. Yes, Josh?
So you wanna basically take it to where, basically if it's anything over 8 hours and they get called out, that's overtime.
I want.
And then anything over 40, if that makes it over 40, it's
If it's
overtime as
over
well.
40, then they need to get paid overtime as per labor law. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of got something written in there. Bill and I can talk about it. I can send it to our handbook specialist and we'll get it all worked out, but I just wanted the approval to move forward.
I would make the motion to move forward with that.
Second.
Well, Josh said something very important there, anything over 8 hours a day. So you work your 8 hour day and you go home and you're home for an hour and something happens and we call you back in. I feel that should be considered overtime over 8 hours, not over the 40 hours, because when I worked for the state, one of their biggest things was they would have you on call and then they would give you time off, so you never made your 40 hours. So if we're gonna do this, let's think about it a little bit. I think that anything over 8 hours a day, and if you're called back in, then that time is considered overtime.
I would respectfully disagree. I would think that if there's the opportunity for them to work 4 hours the following day so that they level out at 40 hours for the week. I think that would just be part of the management and how that supervisor schedules them if they were put on call. Now, if they have to go over 40. But if there's a way to fix the schedule that the next day some more people are available and they cover 4 hours, or that leaving it more to the supervisor. Versus just one single day, I'd look at it as a week as a whole, but
We kind of do something similar to that already because we do flex time. And if the employee so chooses to take the next half a day off, we allow it. But if they don't want to do that, then
right.
they would end up with more than 40 hours in the week anyway. I don't, maybe we should just talk it over with Bill, on phone call tomorrow and see what he thinks and see what we come up with. We'll bring it back the next time y'all have time to think about it and discuss it.
All right, we'll
again.
table that till
How's
our
that?
next meeting.
Okay.
Cause I get feeling both ways.
Yeah,
I was on that where I was on call and
it's
it's
a
a
big
pain in the
decision.
neck.
We want to do it right when we do it. We don't want to.
Call you and you don't get any time.
I see what you're saying. You're looking at it to,
Have the benefit.
Yes, it's a benefit to us to have people that are on call that can come in at the drop of a hat. And otherwise, it's a deterrent to them to want to be on call. I mean, that's how you get employees that have got grudges. They're just getting home, sitting down, and something happens here, and they gotta come in.
Well, would it be more of an incentive to make it to where you're, if you're paid on call and you get, and we, or I say Mark or you, Ray, or Lori calls, one of our employees out, maybe you should make it overtime automatically instead of just,
Well, we don't have anything that says that I can think of right now, and maybe it's in that book, that says that you get a minimum of 4 hours.
We do.
We do have that.
They
If
get
they're
it,
only here for an hour, they come in, turn the valve,
they get
and
2
they
hours.
get 2 hours plus on-call time. Is that on-call time just the time that they're here?
It's
Drive time between places?
not drive time, I don't think, but they get 2 hours, whether they're here 5 minutes or 2 hours. And so basically, they're getting time and a half for that if they're over their 40 hours a week, even if they're only.
Everybody take a look at that policy and see how you feel about it. We'll
Okay.
table that till the next time and
Should we reach out to our
get your ideas on it. So
liaison departments and see what the supervisors, what their feelings are on behalf
you
of their
can ask.
team?
We'll move on to the next topic, and that is the citizen that owes a lot of money that he hasn't paid, and I sent you out his offer to pay roughly, well, it says he'll pay $1,438.22, which is half of how much he owes, in 2 payments.
We've already given very many benefits to that person. The rate we were charging was a much lower rate than what it cost us.
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, the rate we were charging that resident is already at a loss to us as the town. Like, we are already losing money on this case. And so to forgive 50% of it, I think is too great of a loss for the town.
I agree.
one of the things that we have to keep in mind too on this is that the accusations that he's making against the town are false. He's saying that there's a grinder there, and there isn't a grinder within a half mile of him or a quarter of a mile. It's several blocks away. And so it's not a grinder. It was his pipe out of his house to our sewer that was plugged. That's his responsibility, not the town's responsibility. And he just was lucky enough to have a good neighbor that came over and helped him open that up and replace that pipe and stuff. And now he's trying to beat the town out of that money that it costs to have that done. And so, there's a time when we can be very nice, I guess, is flexible. This is not one of them. We're not going to take 50 cents on the dollar because he thinks he's been wronged, and the statements that he's making against the town are totally false. And so that's my.
You move to not accept the offer.
Not accept his offer and see.
Second,
Here we got a motion and a second not to accept the offer and have him move forward with whatever. So
Payment arrangements acceptable.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carried.
My next thing is we need to set an RDC meeting, meeting requirement. I'm recommending June 2nd at 5:45 for those of you on the RDC commission. If that's okay. It's meeting day, it's just 15 minutes early.
what was the date?
June 2nd.
First meeting in June.
I can do that.
Meeting.
That seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, I like it.
We don't have to come in an extra time. It only takes a few minutes to go through what we have to do. I'll send the notices out tomorrow. And Carolyn, will you be able to get me a list of who is playing second Saturday?
Oh,
don't
yes.
have- And how much we need to have the check ready.
Okay.
And that, oh, one more thing I forgot. I got this after I sent stuff out. The St. Joe River Basin Commission is formally requesting their every year invoice or amount that they ask for every year, $1,090 for 2026 budget.
I think we approved that many years ago that we would do that automatically.
So you don't need for me to bring that in.
You
every
guys
year.
want to vote on it again, that's up to you, but several years back,
Yeah, I'm fine.
quite a few years back, we voted to do that automatic.
Mhm.
Hard to remember everything from year to year.
Yeah, I understand. There's
Alright.
a lot of stuff that we do automatically.
I think that was all I had.
Is there anybody that wants Matt to come and talk to you about the river basin?
Oh.
What they're doing? Okay. That's all.
Thank you.
You can move right along then.
Move right along. Anybody have anything for Lori? Hi. Mark, before you leave, I got a question. I got a thing here in my email that, I'm not sure. I think it's a phony thing for me. It doesn't look right.
You're getting involved into this, right?
Everybody
They
did it.
didn't know everyone didn't get one. She only brought one invitation. in.
Oh, okay. So, just, for everybody's benefit, we have been invited to LaGrange Inspired on Saturday, May 17th for a public reception from 7 PM to 8 PM at the Garage Community Center. For honoring our 6 LaGrange inspired artists.
Yeah.
So I'll pass this on down.
Lovely event. I know I am unable to attend, but that's lovely.
I am unable to
Yeah.
attend.
I don't have a free Saturday. anyway. But I am going to find Friday.
Nothing else? Mark, what do you got for us? You got anything today?
You got my report. We've just been busy potling more with John and friends, and it's last Wednesday, we had 2 lines bored in, so we replaced 2 of our galvanized that need replaced lines. One of them we pulled an extra line so it could be a duplex. We got to shut off outside now instead of inside, so
Good.
works out a lot better. 2 employees still doing good. Chris is,
Yeah, sounds like it here.
yeah, I mean, he's a good worker. So I think we found a good one. So, let's see, it was supposed to be Wednesday, but it's gonna be Thursday now where they do the painting on the tower, the lettering. So we'll try to get that. straight
I
in
can't
the
believe
middle.
how fast they're moving.
I know.
I'm really shocked.
This is like our first project. It's actually.
Yeah. It's amazing. I just,
And all the history of,
yeah, and all the stuff that had to be done and everything else. If it looks like this, it's beautiful.
Getting there.
Capital G.
I heard you.
Proud of you.
Yeah. So, I guess the only thing is, it was kind of, I thought about it late, so I wrote it, sent it to Mark, so hopefully you got time to read it. Karen has an existing well in town here and would like to replace it with a different well for irrigation purposes. So we don't have anything for or against that. As far as I know, the state doesn't have any mandates where you can or can't. Health department, they don't issue permits for wells or care. I shouldn't say they don't care, but it's not their thing to
Conservatives.
keep tabs on. So after all that I said, it sounds like something you guys need to discuss if you want to allow people to drill wells in town for irrigation purposes only. I mean, I know we obviously wouldn't allow them to use it for drinking water, but it's just a different era that we're in. Our rates have changed to the point where it's just I don't know, it's just different how we bill for it now. We used to bill when people would use it. Like the extras here, now it's 6 months out of the year, it's on, you're getting a bill for it, whether you use it or not. Yeah, there's a lot to think about with it.
I think that, we need to think and talk about it a lot more. I think we need to have lot sizes and some kind of an ordinance that, we can, check to make sure where that water's going. That it's not being used illegally.
That's what I figured. we have to do
That'll be
kind
the
of-
biggest thing. Hose ran into somebody's house to supplement their drinking water, whatever, flush their toilets.
And we would be concerned the most with the cross connection
Yes,
with our system water, so
Yes.
that would be what we would probably primarily look at, but. Yeah, so. if you guys
it's just something we're gonna have to really think about, because other than the ones that are grandfathered in, it's been years and years and years, and years and years and years that they haven't allowed wells in city limits. So we do have some that are grandfathered in, but what,
But
4 or 5, something like that?
yeah, well, anytime we've run a new main past somebody that has a well, they just, keep their well. But we've had some people rehab their wells, when they go bad. I guess we don't have an ordinance that says they can't. So,
And that's true, when
We
we run lines outside the city limits.
Mhm.
Until that well. Doesn't produce anymore, then they have to hook to us. And that's IDEM state law.
I don't know if it is though.
Uh,
I mean, this is something
yeah,
we need to look into
Yeah.
more. Or I'll look into it more.
yeah,
You guys think about whether you would want to, if it is or isn't. But I guess.
I'm open to it with all the Ts crossed and.
But yeah.
I see problems.
It's scheduled a few weeks out, I think.
I know you don't, but I do, I see problems.
And
But I have to think of the big picture, not my individual property. I gotta think
This
of the big
individual one
picture.
is she already has an existing well that she would like to abandon because it would be better to have a new well for safety purposes and
And that's the thing,
What do
she's
you call it?
abandoning an old well and wanting to do a new one inside the city limits.
right.
So there would have to be an ordinance that would allow her to do that. So we need to look at property size, so that we're not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on little bitty 100 yards by
Right.
60 yards, 100 yards by 60 yards or whatever. And you've got 27 wells drilled in there. Food first to think.
Yeah, as I say, I think it's scheduled for a few weeks out yet. Right?
In 2 weeks.
2
So,
weeks for what? Illegal drilling?
Well, why would you say it's illegal?
Because you've abandoned your well and you can't have a well inside the city limits.
Then I could re-drill my other well that I have now. The water table there is 25 feet. And it's an active, what do you call it again?
Aquifer?
Yes, thank you.
It's not gonna be decided tonight. We're gonna have to look at it and come up with an ordinance that allows you to do that. Because right now, we don't have anything that says that you can do that. So I guess it means you can't do it until you have an ordinance that says you can.
But there is active wells in the town limits, inside the town.
But those were grandfathered in.
Well,
Yours is being abandoned. So when you have an abandoned well, it's moot. It's no longer active. It's
So then-
abandoned one because you've been told that you can't use it.
No, I could still use it, but it's cheaper for me to do a new well. So then I could just have him come out and do the work that he needs to do in the old well. And that's fine. I just don't want to, I want to do it the right way.
I understand that.
I think,
Up to them to decide.
We still have to make sure it's legit,
25 feet.
you know what I mean? We have to make sure we're
Basically where
covered.
the water table is.
Bill, I needed
Pretty
to know,
close.
maybe he has.
Bill, you got anything?
Yeah, as far as an abandoned well, you can't abandon a well and put a new well in under the current ordinance. You just can't do it. You know, we'll look at this one and make some changes. The well is existing, and all you need to do is repair it. There's nothing in our ordinance that stops you from repairing your well. So, you know, what we want to do and what Mark was talking about is we want to make sure that when we put this together, we avoid cross contamination. Where I live, I'm on city water, but I have to have an annual inspection anyway to make sure my irrigation system doesn't cross contaminate the city water. So it's a really big issue, and it doesn't take much to make a really big mess.
Yeah.
So it's something that we can have ready for next meeting, but it's just not something that we'd be prepared to say, let's do this tonight.
So that kind of answers your question. If you can repair that, then our ordinance doesn't have anything against it. But if you drill one beside it or drill a new hole, because the way it sounds is that repair would mean fixing the pump.
Yeah.
So that it pumps.
See, the whole thing too, right? I want to get away from putting it where it is existing now. I wanted to put it over by the garage and put all the housing inside the garage, so I don't have to put a shed out there. You know, that's just, I was trying to make it appealing to the eye.
And that makes sense. It's just I just can't pull an ordinance out of thin air. You know, with the kind of stuff that Mark has to give me for us to get this thing right, it's going to take until the next board meeting.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, at least just assuming I guess what you guys want in the first time.
You need
So
to oh, excuse me. Do you need to come out to the property and look at things?
No.
I know where your property's at and I understand what you're saying,
Okay.
but right now you can't drill a new well there.
I think we're looking for the advice from the water supervisor to speak to our legal attorney to make sure it's legal and it
No
protects them and
cross-
protects
yeah,
us.
Protects us so that we don't get cross contamination.
I don't know anything about cross contamination, so. That would be you experts with the
Right.
legalese.
So then if push comes to shove, then I just fix the old well.
If
Is that
it's
what you're saying?
fixable, if they allow you to fix it.
Oh, yeah, he's been out with the well person, yeah.
I mean, we're only talking about 2 weeks, but I can't get it done any quicker than that.
Okay, I appreciate it.
There you go. Thanks for your stuff. I mean.
I appreciate you keeping your property in town.
Yeah, I
beautiful.
do too.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Looks beautiful there, so. And you're always at our meetings. We appreciate your thought process and everything, but this isn't just something we're gonna do like that. So it's gotta be legal so that others in the same situation have something that they can either come against us with and, or we can stop them from doing it. So,
So you also need my lot size too?
yes,
Okay, I'll give you all that.
yeah, give that to Mark and he can give that to Bill. And we can look at what size lots we're going to allow, if anything, that to be done. Because otherwise we could have 500 little bitty wells all over the town.
Well, another thing Mark and I have to look at, I don't want to belabor the point, but another thing we have to look at is why would somebody want to spend $2,000, $2,500 to drill a well if the water's there already? You know, we have to do this thing. So I want to talk to Mark a little bit about that billing scheme that seems to be driving people away.
Do that.
Oh, you mean our current like 6-month thing?
Yeah.
And honestly, that's there because we have not been able to. The way it used to work, we'd read in each individual meter every month and we
Yeah.
could tell if it moved or not. When it moved, they got charged just that month.
That's the way mine was set up with mine
The way
before, now it's
the new technology.
whatever the new stuff is every
Yeah.
month from May or April to,
We can't read them unless we activate them.
yeah,
If they're not. So it's
so I pay all year long
Yeah.
or almost.
So, yeah, we've had issues, not issues, but we've had enough people come back that have had the extra meter that have asked to have it removed.
Yes,
I mean,
we have.
but I mean, most of them don't use enough water anyways to really hit that make break point. I mean, you gotta use enough water to make it worth it. So. Yeah, I will, I guess I'll talk to Bill.
Yeah, you guys look at those two things.
Anybody else have anything for Mark? All right, thank you, Mark. Have a good evening. Sue didn't have anything. John, street department, once again, busier than busy.
Yeah, we've been working really hard at the park, getting it ready for this weekend.
Thank you. Hope you guys have driven by. Park looks really, really good. The banners are up. People are there all the time.
Even the other day when it was 40 below, there was kids running over there at the park.
40 below. Mhm.
It was cold.
Yeah. The ski,
I had someone ask me yesterday if the splash pad was open and I thought,
yeah.
it's 40 degrees
It
out.
was cold. I
Mhm.
went
Yeah.
down to see.
Yeah, it gets turned on this Friday, correct?
Whenever we get time.
Just whenever this
Try
time,
to get to it.
right?
They weren't on the pad, but, well, they were running around the pad and on the equipment, stuff like that, but they weren't, they weren't dressed warm enough to be out there. It's cold. That was that wind blowing.
That's pretty much all I got. What's on the report?
Hey, John, what would be the chances of Michigan Street west coming off of 9, putting some asphalt in there to kind of fill in that big drop off that's right there that's full of water? Can we like blow that out or something and put some in there to kind of smooth that out a little bit?
Are you talking right by the drain
Yeah, it's
at
just
Carney's?
yeah, right there where Carney's used to be.
Or are you just trying to smooth off the transition?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because just halfway over, it's nice and smooth. But right
Yes.
there, there's a good dip right there.
Yes,
Jimminy Crow.
hit it.
And if we could, make
I can put
something in there, maybe try to smooth that out a little bit.
some coal mix on top of it, but it's going to be on top of the brick. So,
I know,
I mean, I don't want to,
I understand.
but yeah, I can put some coal mix on top of that.
Can we
Try
blow
to-
that out, blow that water out of there first before you try to do that?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can get to it the end of the
Well,
week.
Well, whenever, but I just, maybe when they're paving around town here, they could, I know that's state, but man, that's a good drop right there. And it'd be nice if we could maybe smooth that out a little bit.
Well, if you've noticed on the east side, on the same street, the asphalt's breaking away where the bricks are,
Yeah.
still underneath the asphalt.
Well, I've tried to get it so we can pave them bricks, and I'm getting feedback from our attorney that we can't do that. And Mark down here at the end of the things, and something about historic bricks and all that stuff, so.
I like historic bricks.
Some of that may get addressed, and I'm not sure that it hits this year. Originally it was, NDOT does have a plan to replace that stoplight with a 2-pole setup. And I think when they do that, that's one of the corners that will have to have some work done. So there's a possibility that some of that will get addressed with that when they rework that sidewalk curb and pole set, if we're lucky.
Well, one of the things that would help is when they come across there with that, is if they would take out a line of bricks and make that so that that's deeper, so it doesn't break out. They'd still have their bricks underneath there, But that would smooth that out and it wouldn't be chipping off the bricks as you're coming across there with snow plows and heavy trucks and all that stuff like that. So that's just me as an old road worker. You know, you gotta have more than a quarter of an inch on there to make it stay. So, yeah, they just, you know, one line of bricks and that would make that another 2.5, 3 inches thicker right there where that transition is. And the Historic Society isn't gonna give us money to redo those streets in order to get them smoothed out. I don't know if we could, we used to do pavement lifting and you had an injector that you would stick down there and it would inject that and build that up. I don't know if you could do that on bricks. You'd have to have a lot of holes through there in order to smooth that out. Man, there's some pretty good drop offs in some of that down through there. Lafayette's even worse than Michigan.
Right.
They're rough on the town view.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if anybody wants to know what they really feel like in a plow truck, you're more than welcome come this winter.
I know. I put out a thing, if anybody can drink a cup of coffee driving down through there, why? It's bad. Jars your teeth out. Okay. Anything else for John? John thinks the guys are doing great, so must be hauling a lot of leaves and branches and stuff. I see guys out there to the dump site 20 times a day.
Yeah. Yeah. All
Anything
righty.
else? All right, thanks a
Thank
lot,
you.
John. Have a good
Have a
evening.
good night.
Greenwood, anybody?
Amber?
Is Amber on the air?
No, she's in it.
Okay. As you can see by them, they're busy out there too, so, and they've started mowing. And that is just a never ending job out there right now. Especially with this rain we've had. And, John and Jerry, Jim and Jerry are back on the clock again mowing, and that's, thank goodness for those two guys.
You should have younger summer help around the 15th, I think,
Oh.
or at least two of the three that are coming back from college, be able to start around there.
Good deal. All righty. Park.
For the park, I have lost the band for my May 2nd Saturday, so that's this Saturday. And I am just like, can you whistle? Asking people to sit outside. If anybody has recommendations or suggestions or friends or anybody who likes to sing karaoke or whatever. So that's where I'm at right now. Otherwise, we do have a food truck lined up. So I would just I feel like it's like a symbiotic relationship where they bring more business for each other. You know, if there's a food truck, then the band gets heard better. And if there's a band, then the food trucks are busier too. So that I would love to get somebody else there. But
Anybody out there in Zoom land, if you know of anybody that would like to play,
yeah, I have made a post on
Give her-
Facebook asking for recommendations that,
and everybody I
gotten
know,
anything.
I've tried that.
so it might be
Everybody's
just
busy.
dead. It might not work this May. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but I do have June, August, and September. And I'll get a list to Lori very soon. Next thing, something I'm kicking myself over would be that I would like to spend money. I wish I had done it sooner, but I could look into it on getting the basketball court paved. If you guys were like open to, yeah, let's get some money spent.
Yeah, we're all about that.
Yeah. I don't know how much it would take to pave that, but I know everybody's been voicing how bad that basketball court is. I see people there all the time, so.
Well, we've got pavers in the area, so we're gonna be doing streets. Maybe we could talk them to go down there, and I don't know if we'd have to pull fence or not. We may have to, but they should be able to pave in between there.
Yeah.
And, it wouldn't cost that much. We've got money in the park department.
Right, yep.
So,
Wouldn't be anywhere near those numbers.
Yeah.
The parking lot, I mean.
So it might be something that Mark can come, or whoever gets the paving job. Talk to him about it, see what we can do.
Okay, as long as you guys are open to it. Next thing I know that, I think we've sat on it for a little while now, the park rules. And we tweaked it here and there, and I think that you guys should all have the current email if you're ready to pass it. I make a motion to approve ordinance number 2025-0505A.
So we got a motion and a second for ordinance, 2025-0505A. LaGrange Park rules that have been updated. They'll be available on our webpage.
Basically, the big new thing added to that is no smoking within the fenced area, as we are considering that a structure. Mhm. Me first, and he seconded it.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
We passed the park rules on Cinco de Mayo.
Feels so really. Thanks for that, Bill.
Oh, anytime. I've just got tons of bad jokes.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything else for the park? I'll bring it up, see if anybody's interested or not.
As a board, would you guys entertain the idea of making an interlocal agreement with those powers that be at Screwer Park about giving them a donation on behalf of the town to pursue pickleball courts? Is this something that collectively we should look into if we are allowed to
And
donate money to private entities?
no, it's not Spruer Park, it's Curtis Park
Sorry, I misspoke.
across the street. If that's the same one they talked to me about.
We've talked
Bill,
about
can
it.
we do that kind of stuff?
I have to talk to the people who are setting it up, make sure their 501c3 is set up right, and then do whatever documents I need. I may or may not have to go through the AG. Short answers, I think we can, yes.
Oh, that's right.
So we'll table that for right now.
Yeah.
And see what you come up with, and then we'll go from there on some kind of a donation for, and I think it's Curtis Park. It's the one across the street.
Yeah, is that under the
walking-
same, is that the same umbrella or the same foundation? Well, I'll get with Mark tomorrow. I won't
Yeah.
belabor the meeting.
Yeah,
I'll get with
yeah,
Mark.
get with them. Bob Shanahan. He's the one that's pushing that along with Scott Vanderbeck. Because Scott talked to me about it, last year sometime. And has a diagram of it, and I think they're calling that Curtis Park. They're still trying to figure out how they're gonna get kids across the street without them getting hurt.
Right.
But other than that, anything else for the park? Rich, what do you got for us?
I did send you the last month's report, so you should have time to look at that. As I noted in my email, Pat Shears has resigned as an officer with the town of LaGrange. So I need to close that out and ask for permission to start a new process.
I make a motion that we have Rich move forward on process of hiring another police officer.
That's it.
Got a motion and a second for Rich to move ahead with trying to find another officer to replace the one that has resigned. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And good luck with that.
Yes, I know. Second of all, conversation with Bill and I, but I've come out with a loophole on our Spring Street West house. Reference the ordinance violation. I believe I can make happen. So I'm going to make an appointment with both parties of that house this weekend, face to face. And we'll see if we can get it done that way. And we'll go from there.
Certainly hope so. I'm
Yeah,
tired of
I
the
do.
call.
I think I have found a way to make it happen.
Okay.
So I'm going to attempt that. Also,
All right.
the other property south of the park, which is owned by a corporation. Still working with them on cleanup in the woods between their property, their buildings in the woods, but we're moving forward, so
Okay.
I at least have a contact that I can talk to, so it's better than what I've had.
Yes, yeah.
And then the last thing is the final Friday security. I don't know that the board ever finished what you're gonna do about security, how you want that handled. Cause they
They're
have
like
to have
donate
security.
Hours.
Yeah, I
And
thought,
I don't know that you made a motion or didn't. I guess I'm going back to revisit it, so.
oh, I thought we did, that we weren't gonna do two officers, just one.
Yes, one's what we did last year.
Keep it the same, they were to keep the area the same as what it was
Yeah,
and not expend it through town.
okay. And
So
then she was asking you guys to donate that security money. And
And
then that'd be your donation towards their projects. I think.
Lost it, we agreed to
Okay,
that. But
I wasn't
won't-
sure, so that's why I'm asking.
I don't think it was in the minutes, but maybe,
So I thought I'd better bring it back up, make sure I'm clear and you're clear.
yes. How's everybody feel about that?
How many hours is it?
Are you,
It's 2 hours,
2
I
hours,
think,
something
and
like
there's what,
that,
4
yeah.
of them, so her total was 750. If you're doing a donation, it's gonna be less than that, because that's our billable hours, so it would be less than that. Or actual hours worked.
are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I just wanna make sure that we're
Yeah.
clear and Lori's clear that we did.
Motion to
Right thing.
approve.
Lori, are you gonna take that from donations then?
How you gonna?
I don't know.
promote
Yeah,
it?
I
What
think
I'm-
we need to make sure where we're gonna take that out of. I hate for everybody to have a great plan and then Lori and I play the bad guy.
Yes. So that's why I
You
want to bring it
guys
back
would
up.
never do that.
Well, you were saying it was Mark and I, so I decided to drag Lori in on this one.
In the park donations fund?
It would be from promotion.
Promotions.
Towns or.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Cause you and I can talk about it tomorrow. As long as we've got funds there that we can play with, I'll show you how to do it.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
But
There you go,
Because it's-
Rich.
Yeah,
All right. That's
one guy for 4 times,
Yeah.
so maybe 5. at the
Or
most.
whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, I think they extended.
Final
it
price,
another
maybe it's
month.
5.
Yeah, I think it's 5.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, their time is time and a half. It's not double time like that OPO. It's time and a half for that, so.
So just to make it clarify, can you do the motion if we didn't, even if we did it again last time?
I made a motion and then, which of you, just a second?
Neither one of them second it?
I think they
Anybody
did.
second it?
Thought I did.
Okay.
Oh, you did? Okay, so we got a motion and a second.
Sorry.
I am too.
We got
I
that.
am too. That's why I brought it up.
It's a good thing you did.
That's why we needed.
That,
clarification.
Yeah, I
That's
just wanna
right.
make sure we.
That, police department supply 1 officer for,
Final Friday.
final Fridays,
Security.
as security, and that, we make that as a donation to the committee or whatever that is for
That time.
that time and a half,
Yep,
Okay, I
not
got
to
it.
exceed 8.
there you go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Cause that's a good thing. I like
Okay.
that
Oh,
final
It
Friday.
was really good.
Yeah.
So just another question, am I paying that at their regular time and a half, or am I paying it through the ordinance where we did last year for the security? Remember we.
We made the private security, and that would be private security.
So I'm paying them that way.
Well, it'd be time and a half.
time and a half.
That's what that's set up as.
Okay,
It's billed-
Never mind,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying
Yes.
now.
Theirs is time and a
We're
half.
on the
Our
same
billing,
page.
yes, we are on the same page.
Okay,
Okay.
it took me a minute.
Okay.
That's been a year ago.
Yeah, that's why I said our actual donation is gonna be less than what.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
Yeah. Other than that, that's all I have for now. Our,
Is your car done yet?
no, almost, we were on computer today with the, programming issue, so, not with the car, but with the light programming stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Be nice to get that on.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be on soon. Other than that, I think I'll have Preston here next meeting,
Okay,
just with him getting out, and he worked all weekend. He said it'd be better for the next one. So I said, that's fine.
that works.
Get you here. So,
That works. As long as we get the meeting.
Yep.
Everybody gets to see who he
Absolutely.
is. So, yeah.
yeah, so I'll have him here on the next meeting.
Okay.
I think other than that, that's it.
Are you having a meeting Monday?
We had plans since he came back. So yes, we should have a meeting Monday. Absolutely. I'll let you know if it changes, but that should.
If I
be-
show up.
I'll let you show up. We can always find things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be having a meeting. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I got it. Anybody else have anything for Rich while he's up there?
Mm-mm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening. Mark, what have you got that we haven't talked about?
Oh, a few things. First one is the, pay app for Clear Creek Coating LTD #2 in the amount of $79,562.50. This is for the work and rehabilitation work being done on the south water tower. Just ask for a motion to approve that and authorize Ray to sign.
Do so move, or Ray to sign and get the final payments of Clear Creek Coatings.
Second.
We got a motion and a second for, payment #2 to Clear Creek Coatings for $79,562.50. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The next thing I have is Lake Area Design LLC's, compliance with statements of benefits for personal property regarding their tax abatement. We just asked for a motion to find them in substantial compliance and authorize Ray to sign the document and Lori to attest to that same.
I move to approve this tax abatement and for Ray to sign and Lori to attest.
Second.
That they're,
So, we got a tax abatement, compliance for benefits for Lake Erie Design LLC in the total of, $1,767. Oh, 1 million. Wait a minute here. What number am I supposed to be reading? $1,667,628. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The next thing I have is, Nick, with the police department had gotten with me, as you guys are aware, we did close on those properties at 9 and 20, and Nick had asked me to speak with Todd, the gentleman that bought those, about using the old community foundation building for a training exercise before its demo. Todd is good with that as long as we provided him with a waiver of liability, which I've prepared. We just look for approval of that, and again, to authorize Ray to sign and Lori to attest to. Then they can set their training up and use the building.
I make a motion, we allow them to use, or have Ray sign the
Waiver of liability.
waiver for them to use the building for training.
I second.
We got a motion and a second for for a liability waiver and indemnity agreement for the use of building on 109 East Central Avenue, LaGrange for police training. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Next thing I have, involves the street department. I sent you guys copies of a couple different quotes. John has his one, I guess it's one of the smaller large trucks that we use for plowing snow, sand and salt. It currently has a bed on it that, hasn't been working well, and we've had to replace, the chain drive and some of the pumps in that. I think this would be like the third time. What we'd like to do is, instead of once again repairing it and hoping to get a couple of years out of it before it goes bad again, is just totally replace the bed on the truck with a stainless bed, with a live body. They continue to use that to sand. The truck itself is a 2007, but it's got virtually no miles on it. It's got like 25,000 miles on it. It's a diesel motor, Allison transmission. It's in really good shape. Besides the bed, we'd be going back through and having the frame sandblasted as well at the same time in this quote and repainted. The nice thing about this truck as well is, if we have to, is it does not have air brakes, and it's just light enough that it doesn't require CDL. So it gives us a wider variety of individuals, should we need to do that, that we can put in that vehicle. If we get like a real heavy snow and need to plow around the clock or whatever. So, like to move forward with the replacement. Like I said, there is a significant difference. It's $9,053.52 to try to fix the bed again that's on there, and to totally replace it and upgrade the truck is $51,499. But again, when you consider the fact that trucks like that now to replace are $250,000, I think that's a pretty good investment to try to get in some more years out of those trucks. So I'd like to go that way, and I think John would as well if you'll allow us.
Is there money available for that?
No, Mark asked me about that earlier today, and I've had such a busy day and I didn't really look, and I'm supposed to be able to get on my fund report to look on here. And it doesn't work. So if you want me to go look, I can go look while you move on to something less important.
It's not right here.
I can, but I need to
Right
look at
here.
the appropriation.
Yeah,
Okay. Be right
Okay,
clock's a ticking.
that sounds like
back.
much more than I was expecting. Just had to jump into something else.
Well, we got that.
If we can do it out of new equipment, it's not gonna be a repair. Is that what you had in mind, Mark?
Yes.
New equipment.
Sure, if that's what you tell me. I think John would be happy with whatever you take it out of if he gets his truck fixed. So
Well, I make a motion, if the money's there, I make a motion, we get the new bed from W.A. Jones for $51,499.
Okay,
All righty, we got a motion and a second to purchase a new box for the truck from W.A. Jones for $51,499. Any further discussion?
Mm-mm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Anything else, Mark?
I think the only thing I have, if we want to do that now, I think Mike and them have went through and I think they've got some information to share on the one bid and then some recommendations.
All right, let's, what do we got?
Okay, so for the street improvements, Palmer was low and, the bid checked out. So we make recommendations that they awarded the 2025 street improvements project, so I have a notice for it to sign. You want to do them all at the same time or?
Yeah, and so you want the board to sign?
Yeah. And then, we did have, slight issue with the low bidder on, parking lot improvement. They did not submit form 1 and 2 of the bid form. Why that's significant is on page 1 of the bid form is where you acknowledge that you received both addendums. There was 2 addendums sent out for that. I know they received the first one because the itemized bid form is filled out and it's from addendum 1. But based on that, we would make a recommendation to go with the second low bidder who submitted all the required documents. And I don't know if you want to, or anybody wants to.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to because basically what you've got, and I mean, I'll defer to Bill, the attorney, but the first one is non-compliant to the requirements of the bid spec, so I don't think you can accept it, and I think you reject it based on it not being complete and compliant with the specification.
That would be our recommendation.
So you're going to Pulver.
Pulver was the second low bidder on that one as well.
I'll entertain a motion to not accept the first bid for non-compliance with the bidding process.
I make a motion.
A second, sorry.
All right, so we got a motion and a second not to award EMB paving low bid because of non-compliance with the bidding process, lacking paperwork and then go with Pulver paving, which was the next lowest bid. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion
then-
carried.
I move to approve Pulver for $235,000, $235,678.75 for repaving of the town hall.
That is the award.
I thought you just said, sorry, I thought we just said we're not doing that one.
Which is.
No, we're not doing the 200.
Well, I know that, I thought we needed a,
That you're signing, you need a motion on because
Right,
that is
that's those streets.
that is to award the streets to Pulver. If you're signing there, this will award.
I move to approve Pulver for the community crossings project for $1,150,000, $630.
Okay,
$1,150,630. Right, got there.
you didn't graduate.
Paid
We got a
$1,000.
motion and a second to award our community crossings grant money for Pulver paving for $1,150,630. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. While we're at it, I'd like to thank everybody that put in bids, all the time and everything that you guys took to do that. Please keep us in mind for any future bids that we maybe have coming up. So we appreciate your willingness to bid on this stuff for us. So thank you very much. Anything else, Mark?
I think that would get Mike where he needs to be, and then basically, with these documents, he'll reach out to Pulver, and start the process of putting the formal documents together, and then he'll be back at your next meeting to sign the agreements and everything. Once the contracts and agreements are prepared and everything is signed, then we gotta get that filed, probably in the next day after that meeting, we'll file everything with NDOT. It'll be ahead of the June 2nd.
Yeah.
Cutoff, so.
They don't give us much time anymore. Do you? Little devil. Anybody else have anything for Mark? Thank you, Mark.
Yep.
Jeremy, I didn't see anything from,
Had another commitment tonight.
I didn't see anything out of them either. So Bill, you're up. What's up, buddy?
Everything that I did this week has been covered as we went through the meeting.
I'm gonna start crossing stuff off of their list of things down here.
Thank you.
Geez, that puts us down to 3 little things now.
They aren't little.
No, they're pretty good. We've been working on them for years and years and years. So at least one of them.
We're adding well drilling ordinance.
Well, yeah. Okay, she's adding one to you, so.
I've already got it written down up above under Mark Miller.
Okay. So how are we, Mark, how are we coming with the decommissioning of the old plant?
I guess you'd have to define.
We're not pumping out of it anymore?
No, we haven't pumped out of this in 6 months.
Okay, so is it on standby in case?
No.
So it's completely down then?
Yep.
We can cross that one off.
Or, yeah, it's
Lead line plant. Where are we at on that? All finished?
still coming along.
Still coming along? Okay,
I'm actually gonna put together, kind of a game plan that I'll run for you guys.
all right. Sounds like a winner, but we're further ahead than we were. Good deal. All right, thank you. Anybody else have any business they want to talk about?
Nope.
Any open discussion? Tim, you got anything for us tonight? Anybody? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
I'll make a motion to approve claims.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Mhm.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you all.
Thank you to everybody
Thank you.
for
Thank
coming
you.
and voicing their opinions on stuff. We appreciate it.
I just did.
Oh,
I'm
no.
having troubles today. I'm just gonna shut this thing off.
I
It'll
think
take
you're
care.
having a stroke.